I need the mic here.
Okay, you want to designate it?
Good morning and welcome to Kunzan Shonin. Sorry for the delay. As Kimpo often says, everything that happens at KBC is the blessing of Her Eminence Jetsunma Akan Lama, including our meditation session this morning. So we're grateful to Jetsunma and we're grateful to Kempo to extend that blessing through these teachings. Kempo, who will be this morning, he will offer some pointing out instructions on meditation, and then we'll have a time to meditate together. Afterwards, there'll be a time for some questions. And then we'll conclude with a short practice of the Buddha of compassion, Chandrazik or Avalokiteshvara. So thank you, Kempo. Enjoy this moment.
Sanje Judo, Loji Chonam, Chanju Badu, Dani Jasu, Dogi Jinsu, Jibetsu, Rola Pension, Sanje Jubash. Sanje Judo, Loji Chonam, Chanju Badu, Dani Jasu, Dogi Jinsu, Jibetsu, Rola Pension, Sanje Jubash, Sanje Judo, Loji Chonam, Chanju Badu, Dani Jasu, Dogi Jinsu, Jibetsu. Rola Pension, Sanje Jubash, Sanje Damji Deva, Dani Judo, Never Chuchi, Dumada Doma, Jidon Chawa, Juju Doma, maybe Deva Damba Dama Juchi. Nirin Jada Nidan Javi, Tonyon Jambola, Neva Juji, Sanje Damji Deva, the Divi Judo, Never Juji, Doma, Duma, Jidon Chawa, Juji, Doma, maybe Deva Damba Dama Juchi. Nirin Jada Nidan Javi, Tonyon Jambola, Neva Juji, Sanje Damji Deva, the Divi Judo, Damba Juji, Doma, Jidon Chawa, Juji, Doma, maybe Deva Damba Dama Juchi. Nirin Jada Nidan Javi, Tonyon Jambola, Neva Juji, Kangi Tenjin, Javanjo, Meba, Jimmy, Bachila, Meba, Domeba, Meba, Jumama, Tadedem, Jiva, Jivani, Yishedem, Zobezanje, Manani, Damba de la Chance, Zuji, Benjin, Bumala, Nayo, Siba, Tony, Sudenjin, Temba, Bella, Dada, Pemana, Veshala, Sova, and Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Skasa Sunday meditation section. So today we are talking about on number 6 of the 8 mind training, which is came from directly Joji Padin Atisha. So this so number 6, which is called actually as a pure intention, or sometimes we call maybe sincerity. So sincerity with a great compassion or love kindness is more important, because when we doing something with pure intention, then with the compassion and love kindness, so through that we can bring as a benefit for all the living beings. So make a commitment to do so. So we can take on a responsibility of doing something that actually helps the suffering of other living beings. And also, laksam in Tibetan, we call this part is laksam, which is willing to do something good for others, actually. Uh, So with your compassion and with your loving kindness. So this is sometimes also called extraordinary kasa intention or sensory or sometimes genuine or pure unusual kasa attitude. Yeah, so this is when you have the feeling that you yourself alone can or you have that responsibility of eliminating all the inner suffering of all sentient beings and bringing to them all the happiness that they wish for. So it is the same sense of responsibility that a child would feel toward uh, his or her mother, actually. Yeah, feeling responsible to make her happy and free from suffering. So when you feel that way towards all sentient beings and feel that yourself can do that or you can achieve this goal, then you have generated the extraordinary, the intention or pure intention. So why it's called extraordinary intention or pure or genuine? Because it is more exceptional or supreme than the intention of the hearers and Dachamba, which is solitary realizers. Those who practice the individual vehicles. So those two are actually what they practice is are all for themselves, and their intention is they want themselves free from samsara or free from suffering. So in the Mahayana taught about this, how differences between Hinayana practices and Mahayana practices. So there is actually many differences. One is the extraordinary intention or laksam, or sometimes uh, um, we call differences between Mahayana and Hinayana, the generating bodhicitta actually. Okay, so there's actually few differences in like the Mipam Rinpoche actually talked about this. There's 7 differences between Hinayana and Mahayana. Okay, one is extraordinary intention actually. So the extraordinary intention is actually similar to being in a position of saving someone from falling off a cliff, where you feel responsible to save the person. In the same way, when you feel a deep sense of responsibility for eliminating all suffering of all sentient beings and for giving them all the happiness they wish for, so that is actually extraordinary intention. It can also be called sometimes the exceptional, exceptional attitude, or universal responsibility. So you are taking, responsibility, not just a few people, whole living being. So that is the way the Laksam has an extraordinary intention or pure intention towards all the living beings, not towards a few person. So that is reason. So Laksam is important when we doing the Mahayana practice, whether we doing pujas or offering things or activities. So we need this kind of, intention, pure intention. So carry with these pure intentions, then whatever we do, so the activities, then it's a benefit for all the living beings. Not for yourself, not just a benefit for temporary get happiness, but most important thing is to get achieve Buddhahood, ultimate happiness or long-lasting happiness. So that is actually number six. We call laksam or pure intention. So last time also we talk about this pure intention in maybe eight part, eightfold part. Yeah, 那到吧，我的念他错，做这个定义， yeah. So then number seven, those are six are the actually causes. So when someone who practicing those six and habit, and then result is actually bring up bodhicitta actually. Okay, so number seven is actually result, the mind of enlightenment. Though the number seven, which is mind of enlightenment, or sometimes we call bodhicitta. Yeah, but that one is, I think, bodhicitta, which is Sanskrit word. Is it? Yeah. The translated into English is say mind of enlightenment. Yeah. If we look at our own negative emotions and disadvantages, see how we can do the most good for other beings, we understand that we cannot do enough if you are self-motivated and intolerant to be attracted to someone else, or to be angry with others, or to be lazy. If you are always struggling, inability to empathize with others, not being able to communicate well with others also, the fear of being disliked or rejected by others, all of those situations really prevents us from doing as much good as we can for others actually. Those actually fears, losing and rejecting a kind of, for ordinary people, I mean, facing those situation is a big challenge for come over those situations, sometimes. If you are, great practitioner, then it's another thing. So otherwise, like just like ordinary people like us, sometimes it's very, very difficult to challenge those, difficult situations. Once we face, difficulty situations, then that point actually, if you are really, practicing uh, Dharma, so that point we need to apply a real Dharma actually. Sometimes we face, like, sometimes in between two persons, so like, um, dislike between, then you create a lot of problem, in between two people or two family or whatever, you know. So we can see so many happening around us. Sometimes just for $1, we are, then fighting each other, you know. So sometimes can lose someone's life. It's really, sometimes disgusting. Yeah, yeah, country like before, in Tibet, sometimes we say Tibetans are, a Buddhism country, or then also the peoples of Tibetans are following Buddhism practices. But in other hand, other side, sometimes it's a really big challenge, So lots of going on fighting and hatred, killing each other. Yeah. So because of, I think, lack of education, of course we can say Tibetans are, following Buddhism or practicing Buddhism, but most of lay people just, of course, they have a faith, but so this kind of faith we call actually blindly faith, not knowing the real meaning of Dharma. Yeah, of course, sometimes it's very important to have a kind of blind faith, but it's not going work always, Yeah, so that's why. So if we really concern ourselves as a Buddhism follower or Buddhism practitioner, then we should actually learn about the meaning of what Buddha taught. Like those Four Noble Truths, the Eight Noble Path. So 84,000 actually we have to learn. You know. So of course sometimes those we say we are Buddhism, not we are, I'm talking Hinayana or Mahayana, but in generally we all say I'm Buddhism. Then what is the real meaning of Buddhism, So we are taking refuge uh, in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So most of us or ordinary people, they just believe that I'm Buddhist, I'm taking refuge in the Buddha and Dharma Sangha, that's it. Then if we ask what is the Buddha and Dharma Sangha, then I think most of those really doesn't know, what Buddha has quality and Dharma's quality and Sangha's quality, So that's why, so the education on about Buddha taught, Buddha's teaching, So that is very, very important. Otherwise, just by mouth, just by word. I mean, yeah. So it's happening lots of in the society actually. So even in the Tibetan society, so lots of people think Tibetan. When we say I'm from Tibet, then people think oh, he knows everything about what Buddha taught or Buddha's teaching, but that is not really truth. So lots of people no idea actually, really. So that's why before years, I mean maybe over 50 years before, the Tibetan people can have only education through the monastery actually. Yeah. So that's why in the Tibetan society we can see lots of monks and nuns because family want the kids educated person. So they send those kids to monastery to learn something. Yeah, that is the reason. We can see many monks in the Tibetan society. Yeah. So, but these days a big changed, because they have many primary school, high schools and colleges. So many different places, establish it already. So they can, but not about Buddhism, but generally they can learn something. So that's why nowadays the less, those child not become a really monk and nuns because they have more opportunity to learn except than the other, Buddhism. So they can learn general education. So, yeah, so it's important, okay. So if we really want to help others, then we need to avoid those situations, thinking about, fear, losing, avoiding, someone. So gain all the kind of those, fear to those 8 worldly dharma. Okay, so work hard to eliminate those situations and develop your natural talents and abilities. So we are the human beings, we have more kasota, energy or more capability than the other beings actually. So we can create a lot of good things to the world, to the society. Yeah. So it's a very important, and we should also use the qualities of a sense of Buddhahood actually. No, Buddha nature, sometimes we call it that Buddha nature, for benefit for other living beings. So although we cannot become an all-powerful like both the Buddha and Bodhisattva, yeah, we should always think in our mind that we will help as much as we can based on this way of thinking. One must be physically and mentally determined to attain the state of Buddhahood. That can benefit all sentient beings, actually. Okay, so think about the even Buddha himself actually taught. Even a slightly thinking about on impermanence, that is actually like jewel or diamond, jewel or diamond. Okay, so thinking 1 second of impermanent or emptiness that can bring lots of benefit for yourself and for other beings. Yeah. So of course, thinking about bodhicitta is very very benefit for all the living beings. Not only by yourself actually, because thinking about bodhicitta means you are thinking for others. You want help others, not just a help in material things. You want to really help those who are suffering. So you want to eliminate those suffering, to achieve Buddhahood. Yeah. So that thinking, of course, actually, if you are actually practicing, the more benefit. Only thinking, the 1 second also the benefit. So this is the way that talking about, bodhicitta. So this is a purpose of bodhisattva or Buddhas or Buddha's teaching actually. So any kind of teachings are really whether it's a Hinayana or Mahayana. Hinayanas are teachings are all about to get arhat, which means eliminating all the negative thoughts. Then also teaching about Mahayana, also talking about all the living beings, eliminating all the suffering, all the negative thoughts to achieve Buddhahood. So both are actually benefit, but when we're doing something for others, then it's a more benefit. So that's why then it comes to Mahayana, differences in between Mahayana and Hinayana. Mahayana are more concerned about others. The Hinayana more concerned about a few people. We can say few. Yeah, so that is the between differences that come. So other than all the so both are taught by Buddha himself actually. Whatever they're practicing, so it came from directly from Buddha Shakyamuni, you know. Yeah, so this is actually different vehicles where Buddha taught different kasota dharma, because for us we have different capability. Through that, then we can practice. So what is suitable for yourself? Yeah. So then it's vehicles, come up with different vehicles because of different capacity that people can learn what they suit for themselves. So this is the Kasota Dhamma way. So because of this, such Shonchuji Sen in Tibetan we call Shangchuk Sen, mind of Kasa enlightenment or bodhicitta, which is have a desire to attain the Buddhahood. So for like us, as ordinary people, the genuine bodhicitta is difficult to having that genuine bodhicitta mind or enlightened mind. It's difficult, but but can really, how to say, we can do something good for society, good for others. Yeah. So that's why it's said actually, Buddha Maitreya, arousing bodhicitta is for the sake of others, longing to attain complete enlightenment. That is the essence of bodhicitta, actually, Shanjuji Sen. Whatever we are doing, the sake of other living being to attain the Buddhahood. Okay, that is just an aspiration. Then actual practice, then with this mind, then you can do whatever, how to say, benefit for others. Okay, like offering things, offering materials like foods, clothes. In this practice, actually included those bodhisattvas, what they are practicing actually. Yeah, somehow, sometimes we can say bodhisattvas, they do so many things, practices, we can't count. So briefly, what they are practicing is all included in 6 perfection actually, 6 prajaparamita. Yeah, so we can sometimes look at generosity and patience and discipline and meditating, then wisdoms and diligence, or sometimes a great effort. Yeah, we can say that. Those 6 perfections or 6 prajaparamitas are the main practice actually. Okay, main actual practice is so those 6 prajaparamita, which is actually we say because there's 2 different uh, mind of enlightenment. One is just thinking, aspiration of all the living beings, okay, to free from suffering and to attain Buddhahood. That is just aspiration. Then actual practice with that mind, then if you are doing generosity or diligence or in disciplines or meditating, then that's called Njupa Senche, which is actual practice of bodhicitta. One is aspiration bodhicitta, one is actual practice, actual bodhicitta, we can say. So this is the 2, which is also very important. Why this is important? One day, the Joji, but then Atisha, we call Atisha, one of the Indian, great master. In the later his life is spent in Tibet, but before in early lives is spent in India. Okay, so one day he went around the Bodh Gaya, which is Buddha Kasar, the enlightened place. So he went around, then he think about, because he want, very quickly, enlightenment. Then he thought, what is the way to get very quickly, enlightenment? Then he found it. The only way to quickly enlightenment is practicing the bodhicitta actually. Without bodhicitta, then you can't actually attain Buddhahood actually. Okay, so then he said, there is one another practitioner. He just said to Atisha, I'm very good practitioner. Yeah, himself, maybe the ego or what, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Then because Atisha already know what he is doing, So without bodhicitta, he is doing, yeah, of course he can meditate, and other things too. So he just replied, of course you are a very good practitioner, but your practices are just useless to attain Buddhahood because you are not generating, bodhicitta. So without bodhicitta, you can't actually achieve Buddhahood. So after that, then that person's ego uh, disappear actually. So then he also thought, oh, this is real actually. So, like great master, like Atisha, also found actually, without bodhicitta, then nobody can attain, Buddhahood. So that's why, say in the Shunju Senju, Jinju, the way of Bodhisattva Ayacharatara, the Shanti Devas. So in that book, actually, they have a 10 Liu section or
Verses or chapter.
chapters. So all about bodhicitta. So reason of that, it's really important to how to do having the mind of enlightenment. So not only by yourself, actually, it's for all living beings, Yeah. So then there's a mind of enlightenment. They have divided in many, many different. Also, you can say. So one is, I mean, they giving actually example. Okay. Um, one is like a king. I don't know. One is like a driver. Uh, and then other one is Shuzi. I don't know what they call the yeah keeper of animals,
Shepherd.
shepherd.
Mhm.
So these three are actually divided into three, or sometimes divided into the many ways. Okay, so the most important is that these three are giving us some example, giving example, Also, in mind of enlightenment, we can find, different way. Some are doing like this, some are doing like that, kind of, So, um, so anyway, so without this enlightenment, mind of enlightenment or bodhicitta, then other, practices are really sometimes we can say useless, not so benefit. Okay. So that is the reason, So the Mahayana practices are all about actually bodhicitta. In this bodhicitta, you can find many, many good qualities actually. You can find in bodhicitta, you can find meditation, you can find wisdom, you can find discipline. Yeah. So all the three baskets, you can find in a bodhicitta mind. So someone who really, only practice this bodhicitta is actually enough. So we don't need how to say, look, all the books, all that those masters are taught, composed so many volumes actually. So only If someone only can kind of practice this bodhicitta, that's actually enough. But the important and understanding, meaning of bodhicitta, then I think anyone can, how to say, attain Buddhahood very quickly. Yeah. Even in Vajrayana, without bodhicitta, yeah, you can't actually achieve like Guru Rinpoche. Yeah. So about bodhicitta. So okay. So then this bodhicitta actually are two different way how to we practice. Okay. Then this one is uh, Atisha. He taught actually how to we practice, how to generate bodhicitta mind. Then he talked about this uh, 7 point of mind training. Okay. Then another way, which is Shanti Deva, he taught. Uh, uh, think about all the living beings are equal, and then exchange practicing. Okay, equal practicing, exchanging practicing. Okay, so one is Atisha's tradition, one is Shantideva's tradition. So this is the two different way. So so this is what I'm talking, which is belongs to Shantideva's tradition. Okay, 7 point mind training sometimes we call. Yeah. So so we can think about a little bit bodhicitta mind. Okay. And then so just if you got some feeling okay, you can close your eyes or open your eyes. It doesn't matter which one is suitable for you. You can do. Then think about all the living beings. One day I will help to then eliminating all the negative thoughts and all the sufferings, then to attain Buddhahood, to achieve Buddhahood. So that kind of mind we need to generate and think about that in a few minutes. Now you can take a break. Okay, relax. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even if you know, I mean, we don't need cursor. Of course, if you have capability to learn everything what Buddha taught, it's very good. But if you don't have time or capacity, because it's not enough, our capacity is really, really so small compared to Buddha and Bodhisattva. Yeah, but that actually doesn't actually matter, Like Atisha. I think when he went to Tibet, okay, then when he was in India, he is a really, really great master, great teacher. Yeah, but the Tibetan people doesn't know, he's a good teacher. So he became actually a shepherd.
A shepherd? Yeah,
Yeah.
shepherd.
He did many years. Yeah, people doesn't know, who is he actually. Then once, many years later, one of his disciples came to Tibet. Then he recognized his teacher is doing shepherd, shepherd or shepherd,
Yeah.
shepherd. Then he taught other local people. Yeah, he's great teacher or kind of like that. Then after that, then I think he's during whole life he teach only about so refuge.
Hmm.
Yeah, so many years he taught only refuge. That's why most of Tibetan people knowing Atisha, refuge lama, refuge teacher.
Hmm.
Yeah. So only through he teaching the refuge about, that's a lot of benefit, for others. So of course, sometimes, like that, or sometimes, of course, we need to, develop our kasa wisdom, Then you have to learn more things, Yeah. So like that, and also the Tunggu Chenze, the previous one. Yeah, he himself actually taught, said he only learned this one book, Jimmy Lima's book. We call Yundenze, Yundenje, which is only three volumes. He only learned that book actually. Yeah. But in that book, taught about many things actually. Yeah. So like that, So if you don't have time or ability, then you don't need, every teaching, you don't need to follow actually. Yeah. So just, focus what you are in interest actually. That will help you actually, Yeah. Also benefit. So similar like that, this how to say busy world. So we don't have time to look all the those books. Yeah, like you can learn only custody Namchu. Also okay. Yeah, also in Niti, the preliminary practices also okay. Yeah, if you really doing those practices from that's genuine, that's enough actually. That through that practice you can eliminate all the negative thoughts actually. You can achieve Buddhahood. Yeah, sometimes it's like we can talk in an easy way. Easy way. I mean, yeah, you don't need to follow different many teachings. Just think about your root teacher and what you are doing practices are, if it's doing genuine or yeah some bad intentions. If you're doing good intentions, then okay. If you're doing bad intentions, then you are wrong direction. So you need turn back. I mean, yeah, into good direction. Okay. So of course we can see clearly, what is benefit of you and what is not benefit. I mean, unbenefit for yourself. We can think. Oh, we have a brain, we have a mind. So yeah, then never give up such. Yeah, of course, sometimes we have many excuses, sometimes sick, sometimes busy work. Like that. Yeah, but you can practice even in you are very busy. You can practice, even if you are sick, you can practice. Yeah. So that's why saying never give up in any hard situations you can do. Yeah. Naso, thank you. If
Any questions? Any questions?
I always have questions.
Kimber, when you mentioned Atisha teaching just the refuge vows, I'm thinking what exactly is included in refuge vows, because here in this temple, we receive a lot of teachings in the Mahayana, the belief. Some of our related teachings, right? So just bring back to what does that include? What would he be teaching? I'm just imagining, what would he be teaching?
Yeah, he teaches actually refuge about refugee. So how to we, receive refuge vows, and after you receive refuge vows, then what is your uh, what is your job actually to abide? What is abide? What is acceptance?
Would you accept? Would you
Accept or abandon? Abandon or
Yeah.
accept. And then most important, to recognize the Buddha's quality, Dhamma's quality, and Sangha's quality. Yeah. So those about actually he actually taught many years actually. So in the letter he actually got name, yeah, refugee Lama or refuge teacher, Jamdo Lama. Tibetans say Jamdo Lama. It doesn't mean he don't know any other things. Of course, he knows everything, but he knows, Tibetans doesn't have capability. Like in Buddha, after he enlightened, of course, he taught, first he taught about emptiness, actually. Yeah. Okay. Never shot. There's one verse in that, right after he enlightened, he taught, but nobody, understood. So that's why he said he wanted to remain in silence until he found some disciples can receive or can understand. Yeah. So then after we said 49 days, then those Brahmas and they requested to teach Dharma. Then he found his childhood friend. Those 5 disciples are his actually childhood friend. Yeah, they went together actually right after Buddha escaped from his castle. They went together actually, and then they decided do meditation for 6 years, But those 5, his friends, they cannot actually, how to say, stand up. No, they actually give up. Yeah, they don't have, that kind of strength. Yeah. So they actually also, angry Buddha, because at that time when Buddha, they decided to meditate for 6 years. First 2 years, each day they eat this much actually. Then after that, after 2 years, Buddha ate only 2 pieces of rice. Only 2 pieces. Then after 2 years, the last 2 years, he never eat anything. So in the middle of that, then they give up, those 5 his children's friends. Then after 6 years, he got actually got a Buddhahood. Then the Buddha decided to, teach the first Dhamma well in Saranath. Then actually those 5, his friends, around, at that day, they lived around Saranath. So they heard about Buddha's coming to Saranath because they are, still angry. So they decided when Buddha arrived here, so we'll not talk with Buddha. But when Buddha arrived, then the ego or whatever we call, just, So how they become a, teacher and students actually, how they related. Yeah.
Welcome. Any questions? I just walked in. I'm just grateful to walk in on a teaching.
First time.
Oh, okay, welcome.
I haven't been here in 30 years. So
Welcome back.
thank you.
Yeah.
Really, any questions? Who's here? What are you teaching on today?
Today, actually last a few Sunday, we discuss or teaching about on bodhicitta, so mind of enlightenment. Yeah, bodhicitta is actually came from the Sanskrit word, but they translated into English, maybe mind of enlightenment. How we, generate.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, then we can, generate because of dedication. You can do in English also.
In English.
Yeah.
So, Hung in the northwest country of Ludhiana, born in the pollen heart of a lotus, endowed with the most marvelous spiritual attainments. You are renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a retinue of many Dakinis, following you in your footsteps. I pray to you, please come forth and grant your blessings. Om Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Om Ah Hum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. And we'll just accumulate this mantra Om Ah Hum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum for just a few minutes. No, I'm sorry. We're going to continue. Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 universal monarchs. Your 1,000 eyes, the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate age. You who teach each and every one of us according to our needs. Lord Avalokiteshvara, to you I pay homage. Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. Om Mani Padme Hum. This is the mantra we accumulate. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. And then on the last page, the dedication. By this virtue, may I swiftly accomplish the state of Chenrezig, and may all sentient beings without exception be placed in that very state. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering, may their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kampo.
Thank you, everyone, and happy Sunday.
This Sunday, and Kimbo, you had one comment online, which was from Shinzing, who is thanking you for the teaching and wishing you a nice summer retreat.
Oh.
So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Glad you could be here and welcome.
Thank you.
Glad you popped in. So Kempo will be going to the Paiute retreat, and we'll be back mid-August. I believe. In his absence, we will continue this teaching, meditation and teaching at 11:30 in the morning. So there will be continual instruction happening, and we will welcome Kempo back for the 8th part of the Atisha's teaching that you're following for this instruction. So that would be good. If you can stay, we have some refreshments. Be nice to become reacquainted and to meet you. So just a little time to casual time together. If you'd like to make an offering on the occasion of receiving a teacher, there's some baskets there where you can do that either. There's QR codes if you want to do it electronically, however it's going to work out for you. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Kempo.